What an amazing time of year. We got big Bats and Hardwood today, Holden Kushner. I got Titletown. I got JSU. I mean, we got NFL starting this week. This is amazing. We got NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, which I have not watched enough of this year, and then baseball. So we got everything going on at the right time. JSU, before we get into the baseball plays and the basketball players, I just want to talk about the NFL real quick because this is it. Like, we've been waiting for this. As of now, they're going to play. This is amazing, and the content is just like going to be thrown at you every single day. We're going to have a ton of NFL content. So I know everybody's here for baseball and basketball. Real quick, JSU, how much NFL we got out there? Because I know I've already begun my work.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a lot of content. Playbooks, obviously, cores, tiers section, favorite stacks from all of us, over there, me, Tony, Hoop, AP, Mangone, all the guys over there. So we're going to have that out. And then we've got a ton of video content that we're going to have every day. We're going to have some type of video content. We're going to have podcasts dropping. I think at least twice a week. Both podcasts will be free on iTunes. So make sure you go check them out. I think the first one will drop Wednesday morning, and then the second one will drop Thursday morning, and that's free for you guys. And then we'll have all the showdown shows. Showdown shows will be premium only with Tony, Hoop. I might jump on some as well, but mainly Tony and Hoop, and they'll be breaking down every single island game. So pretty much Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night games. We'll have video showdown shows for all three of those games every week. And then we've got like our main shows. Friday night, we have a cash show with Holden, Hoop, and Mangone, and they'll be breaking down specific cash plays, going through the entire slate, cash strategies they're looking to employ for the week. And then we have a main GPP show with me, Big T, and I think JJ Dunkel is going to join us on that as well. Yeah. So,
really? I got to watch that now. Yeah.
It's going to be fun. That's going to be at 8. And then Saturday and Sunday, we have shows too. So, I mean, the Wood Show on Sunday, that will be free for anyone who watches it during the show. So if you are not a subscriber, you can watch the Wood Show with Tony and Hoop for free. But after that hour, that show will lock for only members only. So if you want to check that show out, you have to watch it when it's live. All right. But that's going to come back. And then the late show with me and Holden is actually going to come back as well. So we're going to be taking some questions and stuff, and that'll be premium only. So we got a ton of stuff out there. I probably missed like at least 5 or 6 shows that that I didn't even get to. So just be on the lookout for it. We'll be posting stuff on Twitter, and all of us will obviously be retweeting it and everything. So just stay up to date on that.
Yeah, me and you, JSU, have been doing that lineup lock show for the last 2 years. So we're bringing it over here. And what are we doing? Like 11:30 to 12:30 Eastern. So you get all of JSU's picks, all of JSU's analysis there. Title, what are you doing, buddy? You just hanging out, getting ready for baseball, basketball, doing your NFL research? What's up?
Oh, yeah, just living life. Bucks finally got a win yesterday. No, the hopes aren't up, but avoiding the sweep was nice for sure. And excited for NFL, excited for MLB and MMA on Saturdays. So just a great time to be alive. And I mean, Sundays
go that far. Not a great time to be alive. Great time to be a sports fan.
Hey, for us sports fans, all right. Hey,
that is. Look back at this year and say that was the worst time to be alive ever, but we made it.
I will say though,
this is the best
time of this year now, where we got all the sports. So I know what you meant, Title. Holden turned it around on you and made it a bad thing. But
yeah, see, I'm focusing on the good. I'm focusing on the good stuff.
Seriously, I could not sleep this whole weekend because I'm so excited about NFL. But I'm still grinding in baseball. You guys are still doing your NBA thing. So let's start with you here, Title. We'll get into this baseball slate. And we got a couple of interesting notes here I want to get into. First of all, Charlie Morton is starting tonight for Tampa Bay against Washington, but he's going to be on a pitch limit, 4 to 5 innings max if he does not get rocked. Chris Bassett, one of my favorite pitchers, is on the mound tonight. So he is going to start for Frankie Montas. Bassett starting for the A's. And then the wind is blowing in at Wrigley. So we had a wind blowing out last night, which paid off the first couple of innings, and then things just went dry. We got the wind blowing in at 11 miles an hour. This is the whole thing about Wrigley, guys, is that, sure, it could be blowing 20 miles out, straight out for the first 2 innings. The next 5 innings is blowing in. So You just got to take that and you really got to dig into it. So, Title, let's get into these pitchers here again. Morton is on a limit. Bassett is in there, but we start at the top. Scherzer, Gallen. Where do you go between these two? Is Scherzer just a lock in cash tonight?
Yeah, first I want to mention the Cubs aren't on the main slate for DK or FanDuel. So if you're playing single game, but that is if you're playing Wrigley, whenever it's on the slate, it's always something to look at. But starting at pitcher, yeah, Scherzer is just a complete lock for me. I want him on FanDuel on one pitcher sites, even though he is more expensive. He's just the safest by far. His pitch count, he throws over 100 pitches. He has good strikeout stuff. The matchup isn't great. The Rays they've been hitting the ball pretty good, but on a 6-game slate, it's by far the safest play. So I'm going to have a bunch of him. And then my second favorite pitcher up top, I like Lamet a lot too. Really powerful arm, very live. I like the matchup against the Rockies on the road. Their season-long stats aren't always telling because of Coors. So I like that a lot. If you navigate through Blackman, you're looking good. So those are my two favorite pitchers, and I'm going to be pretty much all in on both of them. There's a couple other options that I don't mind, but I'm going to have a very tight pitching core today, and it's going to be Scherzer and Lamet with not a lot of obvious bat spots. So I love this upper tier range.
So it doesn't seem like we're spending too much time on pitchers and cash tonight. JSU, Scherzer, Gallen, Lamet. I think you look at Plesac. Bassett's interesting. Is Bassett? What are they going to do with Bassett? Like, are we getting him there on what'd you say, DraftKings?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. He's not in the player pool, but I assume he gets added. But yeah, at the top, I mean, Scherzer's the top guy. I mean, like on FanDuel, when you go over to FanDuel, it's crazy because you got Scherzer, Gallen, Plesac as the top 3 pitchers on the board. And Scherzer's $400 more than Gallen, $700 more than Plesac. Like I'll take Scherzer in that scenario almost all the time. Now on DraftKings, it's interesting. You got Scherzer at 10.4, but then you got to go, what do we got here? A Gallen at 9.2, so he's $1,200 less. And then Plesac all the way down at 7.6. So that's telling me right there, like Plesac to me is one of my favorite pitchers on the board on DraftKings. I like the matchup a ton against KC. Now, yes, he's faced him once, handled him well, but he's got upside, and that price tag is just wrong to me. It's like it should be in between what FanDuel and DraftKings have him at. Like I think he's way too cheap. He's undervalued on DK, whereas on FanDuel, they've kind of priced him up almost, in my opinion, to maybe it's a little of the matchup as well. But he's a good pitcher too. So, I mean, maybe he's priced where he should be. I don't know with the matchup, but to me, it's like a tale of two things. I think he's supremely lower owned though on FanDuel. So if you're just playing the ownership game, everyone's going to play Gallen and Scherzer on FanDuel, and I don't think a lot of people are going to click Plesac's name at that price tag on FanDuel. So it's not a bad idea for tournaments if you want some ownership, some leverage on the field that way. So, but on DraftKings for sure, Plesac is one of my favorites at 7,600. I'm surprised Title didn't like him as a top SP2. I'm actually kind of shocked because he just seems way too undervalued to me. My second favorite pitcher is actually Lamet too. I love the matchup here. I think he's got upside for this matchup, and 8,800 again on DraftKings is just I think it's a little too cheap. I think I'd prefer him over Gallen. Honestly, Gallen's seen San Francisco now. I think this is the 3rd or 4th time he's seen San Francisco, if I remember. Or it's the 3rd time, and he handled them fine. Nothing crazy, but he didn't have huge games against them. And I respect San Francisco's offense maybe a little more than some people do. So I think for me, if I had to rank them, it's Lamet, Plesac. Scherzer's obviously up there, but I think Lamet and Plesac is my favorite pairing today, and that's what I'll be looking at.
Real quick, any thoughts on Gausman? Is the ceiling just not there with Gausman? And then you look at FanDuel, you brought this up. Like Dinelson Lamet is 2,000 less than Scherzer, 1,600 less than Gallen, and 1,300 less than Zach Plesac. So he kind of stands out there on FanDuel.
Yeah, 100%. I love to look at, the difference in the site's pricing because you can get a lot from that. And so like Lamet on FanDuel to me is my favorite pitcher, I think, where like with the price included obviously. Now, I think Scherzer is still like a top pitcher on FanDuel with obviously you only pick one pitcher and it's the win equity. But I think like I'm probably going to play Lamet. And then I'm probably going to play Plesac just because I think he is supremely lower owned in tournaments to the other two guys, Gallen and Scherzer there. So, I mean, that's what I'm looking at. I think if you want to go cheap, like on DraftKings, you want to play Kevin Gausman. I like that as well at 6,100. For me on DraftKings, it's those three guys, though. It's Lamet, Plesac, and Gausman are the three pitchers that I really want, depending on what I need in my lineup. Like if I need two cheaper pitchers, I'll play Plesac and Gausman. If I, have the money to play Plesac and Lamet, though, that's my preferred pairing.
And then, Title, like you said, you had your pair just really trimmed down. Like, is Lamet the cash pitcher on FanDuel?
Yeah, so JSU made a point with Plesac and because he is cheaper and he has a great matchup. But for why I like Lamet so much, I mean, his K prop at 7.5 with juice on the overs, his floor is just great. I'm not scared with the Rockies. And I love Lamet. I'm probably more bullish on him than other people. I think Lamet's a very good pitcher. The pitch count's the only thing that's a little scary, but he's reached 90 pitches lately. He's been extended a little over that, so I'm not too overly worried. Plesac probably does have he has a good floor for sure. In cash games, though, I always I do a floor, but then I want ceiling, even in cash games, because that's very important. Strikeouts are, you can let up 2 runs, but if you strike out 7 or 8, you're still got a really good performance. So, and with the lack of hitting options really on the slate, like we don't have Coors, we don't have implied totals at 6. So I don't really need to spend up on bats that I really feel that I need. So I'm finding myself paying the little extra for Lamet. I feel safer with it. And that's just what I'm rolling with. Plesac's definitely playable. Gausman's playable, but I'm keeping it really tight core, only playing a couple lineups, and I'll just be rolling 100% with those two.
All right, guys, make sure you hit that like button on our YouTube page there, and one of you will get some Run Pure swag if we get to 125 likes. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button. It's a wonderful thing, and you'll love it. So we move over to the hitters here. JSU, let's start with you in tournaments as we begin with Tampa Bay and Washington. Can you make the case for any Rays going super contrarian tonight against Scherzer?
I've been on the Rays a little bit for like some one-offs and stuff like that, and it worked out. Like yesterday, if you played some of those cheap Rays bats, that kind of worked off. Renfroe hit a bomb, I think. So I'm probably not going to go with it here just against Scherzer. Like I don't see the reason why you would need to. But the Rays have a really good lineup. Like their lineup is very good. I wouldn't hate it. I guess it's a 6-game slate. If you take one of these one-offs, like if you take like a Brandon Lau or someone like that, you're going to be a little very different from the field. So I don't mind it if you want to go there, but I'm probably not going to do it personally. They also do have some really cheap guys. Like Kiermaier he's 2K on DraftKings. He's in the 7-hole. Like if I had to go cheap, I wouldn't mind throwing him in there if I needed a contrarian one-off, but I'm probably not going to have much from this game and at all. I don't like the Washington side either that much.
Now, it's nasty. Title, in cash, you're trying to play it safe. Can you make a case for anybody from this game?
Yeah, I think JSU hit it right on the head. You can make a case for Kiermaier in cash at 2K just because a couple days ago on FanDuel, I loved my whole lineup and I had 1 spot left at utility and I had 2,000 left, min price. So I asked JT, like, what do you think? And in baseball, it's okay to take a 0. If you love your whole lineup or a 0, what you think, that still has some upside. And JT's give me Wallstadty. Wallstadty hit a bomb on the Angels and min price, I got 22, 25 points or something. So I'm fine with playing Kevin Kiermaier. If you love your whole lineup, you have Scherzer, Lamet, you got the bats you want, and you have 2,000 left, I'm okay with playing Kiermaier. Expect a 0, but that's okay in baseball. You see GPPs 1 with 0. So I'm fine with that. Otherwise, I can't make a case for anyone else in this game.
And like you said, playing a hitter against your pitcher, that's going to be,
unique,
not many
automatically.
even in the 6-game slate, that's still going to be very unique. So I don't mind it when we get down to these smaller slates.
And Scherzer does, he lets up home runs against lefties. Like, he doesn't always give up. I'm not expecting a no earned run, 11 strikeout performance. He might give up a solo bomb or two, and Kiermaier can do that. So I like that play at 2K if you need it.
No, that's a great point too, because Scherzer's home run prone. I mean, he throws the ball so damn hard that when it happens, he's a moderate fly ball pitcher, 37%. But it happens, especially lefties. Lefties can get to him a little bit. So we'll see what happens with Kiermaier tonight. I don't know. On the other side, let's go to Kansas City and Cleveland. So we got a little Brad Keller action. And I think the Cleveland offense, this is just a personal thought. I wonder what you think about this, JSU. It's going to be very popular tonight, especially in cash, but I think it'll be pretty popular on the other side. And then as far as the Royals go, maybe you could get a left-hander in there like a Ryan O'Hearn. But outside of that, this is another game that it's kind of shady offensively.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stay. This is another game. Like, I'm picking my spots on this. I have a few spots as we get moving past this game that I like. So I'm probably going to stay away from it. If Cleveland's going to be popular, which I do think they will be popular, the hitters anyways, I'm probably just going to fade the chalk in Cleveland and move on. Like, if I did want a one-off, like obviously someone like Lindor, Jose Ramirez, those guys are fine. Naquin, it's 3,200 hitting in the 6 hole. Like, I wouldn't mind going that, or like a mini stack with Reyes and Naquin, like a cheaper mini stack like that. But I'm probably not going to stack this game. I'm going to stay off the Cleveland's from a stacking standpoint. And we got Tony's guy, Josh Naylor, sitting at 2,300, another cheap guy. You know what I mean? So this is probably a game where I take some cheapies like a Naquin or a Naylor. But I'm not going to probably spend up for any of these big bats. Hope this game kind of just, doesn't do well and move on.
Naquin's really interesting too, because we know that he can pummel right-handers. We got Keller on the mound who loves to give up fly balls. Or I should say he's it's not that much fly ball wide, but hard contact's almost 29%. So he does that. And I'm looking at the lefties against him too. I mean, that'll be an interesting one. That's a Big T special right there, isn't it? Little Naquin, little Naylor. That's the Big T special. What are you doing in cash with this game? Because this looks really sexy on the Cleveland side, especially 1 through 5.
Yeah, on a normal slate, I wouldn't have any interest. There's usually better spots, but on this 6-game slate, you got to find the best spots, and Cleveland is one of them. I don't love picking on Keller normally. His stats or his numbers don't look great, but he just seems to be a better real life pitcher and can give up less numbers than, what I would expect. But today we got to do it. Naylor right away sticks off the page at 2,300 in the 7 hole. That's a cash play over Kiermaier. Like, Kiermaier would be the tournament play at 2K. Naylor's a cash play at 2.3K. Naquin, as you mentioned, Carlos Santana at 3,700. That's a free square. I don't know what they're doing with pricing. Right in the 4 hole. And then I like Jose Ramirez and Lindor. They're not too expensive, 5,200, 5,000, but I've mentioned enough value bats, and there's some later that you'll be able to fit them. Cleveland, I have a lot of interest in, even though if it was a normal slate, I wouldn't, but that's what we're given, and I'll have Cleveland today for sure on both sides.
All right. I was looking to see what title was going to play for offense today, because he doesn't have cores on the slate. So it's really brutal. Interesting. I was waiting to hear something that he was going to like. Without cores, like, what do you do without cores? Do you just sit there just like so upset that there's no cores on the slate? Like, you must just be depressed right now. Like,
close my eyes, throw a dart at a dartboard, and I have teams above, and whatever it hits, that's what I do. No,
that's it. I knew it was. I knew you had a system.
Strategy.
It's like Mangone's system he put on Twitter. It's something like that. Close your eyes or something.
Yeah, no, it's tough.
All right, guys and ladies, hit the like button. Look at that. We're already well over 50, and we're not even halfway through the show. So you guys are doing good, but don't get complacent. Get over there, hit the like button. It's good for us. It's good for you because you might get some free stuff out of it, and that's just wonderful. We got the Yankees visiting the Blue Jays. Hyun-Jin Ryu, so lefty going up against the Yankees, and Toronto getting a lefty in Jordan Montgomery. Let's go back to you, Title. I want to get your thoughts on this in cash because, again, it's a little bit it's a little bit tougher to get things going here. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I also like Toronto is one of my favorite offenses as well. I'm not a believer in Montgomery. Don't think he's very great. Only stick to the righties though. He is good against lefties, but Grishek sends out of the page right away. Vlad Jr. hasn't been hitting the ball great, so but he's in the 4 hole and he's 4,500. It feels a little pricey, but you can make a case for him. The 4,200 Grishek really stands out. Gary L in the 5 hole I absolutely love. It's definitely an offense at 4.3K on DraftKings too. I'm going to have pieces of Toronto because they're in the mid-range. So I'm going to plug in value bats, plug in the Cleveland bats that I like, and have a couple one-offs from Toronto. But I can't full stack it because I really don't like the lineup they put out. There's too many lefties mixed around with Biggio and Tellez that I'm just not going to pick on Montgomery with lefties. So a couple right-handed bats from there at the top of the order I like.
Yeah, I mean, again, the lefties aren't doing anything against Montgomery. Righties, 288 ISO. Are you kidding me? They're just crushing them, almost 190 feet per. It's just amazing what this guy has been doing, and it's a bad thing against righties. JSU. So if we think that there's going to be a little bit of ownership on the Toronto side, I don't know. You tell me if you think there is going to be ownership on that side. How do you handle the Yankees side today? Because my sense is anytime they're on a slate, people are just going to be drawn to them because there's a lot of Yankee fans out there. Is that accurate or inaccurate?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the Yankees are going to draw as much interest as you think. I think Toronto will see some interest. I do like Toronto. Now, I'm with Title though. The lineup they put out just
gross.
I don't get it. Like there's a ton of lefties in it, and just doesn't really make sense. Now, I will say I do like some of these righty bats that they have. I just wish they had a few more in there. They have a ton of lefties, but again, you can make a case to stack some of these, stack the right-handed bats and then throw in a lefty or two just to be a little different, because I think everyone's just going to pick the righties out against Montgomery. But I think Toronto is still one of the better plays on the slate. That just kind of shows you the lack of offense, I think, a little too on the slate. But I'm still going to say Toronto is one of my teams that I'll probably full stack today.
Well, JSU, do you have to get different then? They're going to have a couple righties at the bottom of the lineup, and Santiago Espinal and Danny Johnson. I mean, Jansen in the past has come up with some big home runs. So could you see yourself going there in a GPP?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I could stack the bottom of this order, but I could just leave out like Travis Shaw. I don't want to play Travis Shaw, something like that, and wrap it around. Like I'll still play Biggio because I still think, even though he's a lefty, like he's still one of the better hitters they have. So I could do like a wraparound stack with that, get Grichuk in there in the 2 hole. So I'm still going to play some Toronto, and I'll definitely have like Danny Jansen will probably be my catcher. Just throwing that out there, like, because I'm going to play Toronto. So
yeah, Biggio. I like Biggio's the only lefty I would play, but it's like, what are they doing? Why is Travis Shaw in this line? Why is Tellez batting third? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like you could have put out a way better lineup and they would have been a lot more appealing, but managers will be managers, coaches will be coaches, and
I wonder and wait till we get to the Arizona lineup. I wonder at this point if it's just guys getting off days. Like
yeah,
just been rolling. They went through the weekend, worked to a Monday. Normally this might be a getaway day. I do wonder, but you're right. Like, and again, Tellez has been hitting well, but this is a horrible matchup for him. Right?
Yeah, give him the day off. I mean, but it is what it is.
All right, so let's do Arizona at San Francisco title and cash games. So San Francisco, they got a really tough matchup, but it just seems to me like every game is Yastrzemski, Dickerson, Solano, and Belt. And then if you're going up against the lefty, you throw Flores in there. So for those of you not on to San Francisco yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. But on the other side, there's no Escobar tonight. You get this Rojas leading off. It's just, God, this is gross. And I don't like Kevin Gausman, despite the fact that he's got a 31% K rate this season. And all the guys on the bet side, I'm talking to them. It's like, dude, it's the Arizona. Arizona's the way to go tonight, which is interesting. So maybe that's a belief in Gallen. I'm not sure. Title, who are the cash plays from this game? Both sides.
Yeah, well, I don't like this game, but we might need value on Arizona, and they offer a lot of value on DraftKings. Rojas leading off 2.7K. I don't love it, but 2.7K for a leadoff hitter on the road. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. So he's in play. The guy in the five hole, Wyatt Matheson. Do either of you guys know anything about him?
Yes, I do. He had a 1,000 OPS at AAA last year, but he's had a 2-to-1 K to walk ratio. So,
well, he's
min back there. Basically, he has to hit a home run tonight.
Min price 2K, batting in the 5 hole. You can do worse on a 6-game slate with upside. So that's not necessarily a cash play. Well, it's 2K, so it is. I mean, I like him more than Kiermaier because I'd rather not play him against Scherzer, but he's playable, but I just really don't love either side of this. So I'll let JSU talk about it because I won't have much.
JSU, all you, dude.
Yeah, well, so first of all, I think from the Arizona side, I think their lineup is terrible. And I prefer the pitchers, honestly, more. Like I like both of these pitchers. Like I talked about Gaussman. I'm going to play Lamet over Gallen, but I still like Gallen. I think he's a solid pitcher. If I had to take a lean, honestly, like I don't know. I think this game is a stay away, but San Francisco, I guess, because they've seen him a few times when we've talked about, that before. They've already seen Gallen twice, recently too. So, I mean, maybe that's a way to go. But yeah, I mean, I think you can take a one-off. Like you can take a one-off from Arizona. Like I'll always play a guy like on this slate, like a Ketel Marte, as you would say. So,
look at you. Love you.
Yeah,
you're learning.
I know his name. I have his jersey. I know his name. But I mean, Cole Calhoun is cheap, 3,500. Dave Peralta, like if you want a cheap stat, like Arizona has some cheap bats. I just don't know how much I like them. Like I think I like Gaussman a little more, but in large field GPPs, you want to be a little different. This stack is cheap, so I don't mind it. I think I'm going to stay away. Like I'm pretty much honing in on like the Toronto game, some one-offs from the Cleveland side, or maybe a mini stack from the Cleveland side, and then one other game that we're going to get to in a sec. So,
all right, a couple things. First of all, Dr. Fresh. I did say Donnie Johnson because that's how Canadians say it. Who was the guy on the other side? Every time you listen to a game, it's Donnie Johnson with a home run, you hosers. So that's why I did it. It was not a mispronunciation. It's screwing around. Second of all, I'm just going to bring up a note here that has nothing to do with this. Gary Varsho was a catcher with the Cubs. His kid Dalton Varsho is now hitting at the bottom of the Arizona lineup. He was named after Darren Dalton, who had major mental health issues and is now dead. So there's Gary Varsho for you. His son is playing, and a little bit of morbidity has come into this show. So,
thank you for that fun fact. Thank you very much, Holden.
I mean, Mr. Negative.
And we always, you Mr. Negative. And we always will accept when anyone wants to trash on Holden in the chat.
Yes.
So we'll always accept that.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Way to set the mood.
You can trash on me too. It's fine, but we'll always accept when people trash on Holden. That's
yeah, I can totally take it. It's not. I don't take it personally. Well, sometimes I do. Houston and Oakland. So this is an interesting one too. Let's start with the Oakland side, JSU and GPPs. So they're going up against Javier. I'm kind of looking at a couple of these guys, in particular Matt Olson and maybe a little Robbie Grossman. On the Houston side, they've got Bassett now. I mean, that's a really tough matchup, but nobody has been able to stop Kyle Tucker. Like, Kyle Tucker is the ultimate machine right now. What do you do with these two offenses?
Yeah, I mean, I think Oakland's really interesting today. I kind of like them. I'm still waiting. Has their lineup come out yet? Has anyone seen their lineup yet?
I've not seen Oakland's
lineup. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm interested to see that, but I kind of like them today for tournaments. I like them as like I think they're going to be somewhat lower owned stack. But yeah, Kyle Tucker, man, I was playing him, just kind of waiting for him to go off, and then I kind of got off the train right before he started just going nuts. So it's really hurt to see him just starting to hit bombs lately. Me not be on him because I was on him to start. But Yeah, I mean, I don't mind going back to him. I know right when I go back to him, though, he's gonna finally put up like the goose egg that I've been seeing in my lineups. But I don't mind him. I don't mind Houston, but I think Oakland for me is going to be the side that I lean towards today.
Yeah, if you're wondering why Bassett's starting tonight, Montas in his last 3 games has 11 Ks to 9 walks. He's allowing 3 walks or hits. His whip is about 3. So he's just been garbage. And Bassett's been really good, and they're going to throw him out there, and that's what we got. Cash side here, Title Town. Who's cash viable?
Another game that on a bigger slate I would have very little interest, but hey, we're in this slate, and I do have some interest, and it starts with the Oakland lefties. Javier has been a guy with major splits and has struggled against left-handers. I like how they got Listella. He should be in the 1 hole or at the top of the order. His price is at 4.6K, which feels a little expensive, but on a slate like this, the lefties, Oakland lefties are in one of the best spots. So Listella and Olsen are the 2 I'm really focusing on. Grossman should, if he's in the 5 hole, I would have some interest in him, even though I don't love him that much. I'm going to avoid the righties though. Javier is good against righties, has good stuff. So you got to wait for that lineup to come out, but I expect Listella and Olsen to be the main ones at the top of the order. And then going to Houston, it's the same way. It's the lefties against Bassett that I want to target. So Brantley, Big T a couple weeks ago or whenever said that I was going to be on Brantley, and I was like, no, I'm going to be on Alex Dickerson. Yes, that was Alec Dickerson's 3-homer night at Coors. Yes, he was 19%, little victory lap there. But and Brantley did homer that game, but I didn't have him. But just wanted to bring that up. That reminded me. But Brantley and Tucker are the 2 lefties that I do have interest in, and I haven't seen that lineup either, but I don't expect other lefties to be at the top of the order. So it's the lefties in this game, and that's what I'll be targeting in cash.
All right, guys and ladies, hit the like button. Wow, we're already up around 80. We got to get to 125 when he's going to get some Run Pure swag. Here, I'll stay with you, Title, because I can't imagine you're going to any Colorado hitters tonight. Then there's Kyle Freeland. Doesn't strike a lot of guys out, doesn't walk a lot of guys, though. And you're going up against here. He's going up against, again, the Padres lineup, and we know these guys. It's like, who are we throwing out off the top of your head? Tatis, Machado, Nola, Hosmer, maybe some Cronenworth against the righty. Will Myers might be a play today. There's got to be a lot to like from this Padres lineup in cash.
Yeah, at first I saw some of the chat saying everyone's wearing their RPS swag except Titletown, but you know Titletown's always rocking the little RPS hat, so I got it on. Always got to rep it. But yeah, the Padres are interesting in cash, but they're just so expensive. And because I want Lamet and because I want Scherzer, I just can't play everyone. So I'm going to get the Padres when I can. If I do in a couple lineups, if I want the Padres, that's the lineups I'm going to play Gossman in, which I don't love. But if the Padres go off, you're not going to be able to have Lamet, Scherzer, and the Padres because there's something called a salary. So I'm not going to have too many in cash. Obviously, Tatis, stud, 5.8K. It's just so expensive. Machado, 5.7K. I like Will Myers a little bit. I want to see where he's batting the order, but 4.4K with a lot of power. I'm interested in that. Not interested in the lefties if Moreland and Grissom really crack the lineup, but need to see where the lineup is. They just feel a little too expensive for cash with what I want to do at pitcher.
How about you, Mr. JSU?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Padres a lot. I'm probably going to pay up for some of these guys. Tatis, Machado, I'm probably going to pay up for. I think they're my favorite stack of the night. If I had to rank them, they'd be number 1. But yeah, I mean, I'll even play in tournaments. I don't mind playing Grisham. I know it's lefty, but I still don't mind him. Really solid hitter. Will Myers is interesting as well. But I definitely want some Machado. I want some Tatis. And yeah, Myers, Grisham, those are the guys I'm looking at. If I had to pick 4, those would definitely be the 4 guys I'm looking at.
Well, this will be the first time Freeland faced the Padres on the road. His first start, he ended up getting, 40 FanDuel points, not bad. And then he gave up 11 hits in 4 1/3 innings, 8 of those singles, and only K'd 2. But he had a big problem in his last start. So You know, a lot of times we say this team has faced this pitcher, and then the pitcher's going to have the advantage or the hitter's going to have the advantage. I don't even know which way to lean here, with the exception that the Padres are just so damn talented. Good luck, Kyle Freeland, tonight. So we'll see what happens. And Freeland, actually a Denver guy, has done a good job pitching at Coors Field. But gosh, on this slate, we just talked about the Blue Jays and the Padres. Like, let's get the stacks real quick, JSU. Is there anything else?
So the Blue Jays, Padres. So Padres 1, Blue Jays 2, and I'm going to throw Oakland in as the third. I do agree that the lefties are what you want to target, but I do also think that you can stack this in the 6-game slate. Like, you can stack this team up. So they would be my like sneakier stack. Outside, I think like the lefties should have some ownership, but as a stack, I don't think they're going to be as highly owned as they should be on the slate, honestly.
I mean, title, cash.
I'm not going to include the Padres just because I'm not going to be able to get them much in cash, but I'm going to go Indians, Blue Jays, and then Oakland / Houston lefties.
All right, cool. Very good.
I forgot to like Austin Nola as well from the Padres. I didn't mention him, but I'm definitely looking at him as well. I forgot to mention him, but yeah, and like on FanDuel too. On FanDuel too, like one thing I love doing on these smaller slates, like you want to be really different, plug in Nola and plug in Jansen at your catcher, and, like as your 2 players in your USIL and your first / catcher spot on FanDuel, and then just build a lineup from there. Guarantee you are going to be different than everyone else. You will have a unique lineup, I promise. So
yeah,
mess around a little. It's fun on FanDuel. You can mess around like that.
Who was it with the Red Sox? It was one time this weekend where I went double catcher on FanDuel. I think it was Christian Vasquez, and there was one other guy.
Plawecki, probably.
And then it was Plawecki. And I think Plawecki had the much better night, and Vasquez blew it. But, hey, listen.
Yesterday, wasn't it yesterday when you had Caleb Joseph, I think it was, and Plawecki both bombed? And you could have played both of them like on fan. Like that's something that like I'll do all the time. Where like you could play 2 catchers, both super cheap, and then just like right there, like on FanDuel, right there. I know for a fact I'm unique. I can build around those guys, and I can play some popular chalkier guys in my lineup and still have a shot. So that's something I like doing on FanDuel.
You know, I've been doing this lately, JSU. I don't know if I've had you on the show, so we've been doing it, but we always give out home runs and stuff, and it's like, all right, home runs, wonderful. To me, what's more valuable would be a one-off. And I just heard from you, like Nola and Jansen would be your one-offs, right? These would be 2 really good one-offs. So I'll throw that out there, and if you got another one, by all means, go for it. But title, is there a one-off or 2 one-offs that you can kind of recommend for tonight?
Yeah. So in tournaments, it's Kiermaier. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with the lefty, the min price 2K option. It'll make you completely unique. You can literally play the chalkiest lineup you want and play Kiermaier against Scherzer. And if you're splitting with anyone, it's going to be Run Pure Sports guys. So that's all. Yeah, it might be me. So that's all right. So yeah, that's my favorite one-off in tournaments. And then the other guys like Naylor and the cheap guys, Naquin on Cleveland, and the Diamondbacks would be the other guys in cash. But
all right, boys. Anything else with baseball for we get to this 2-game slate and hoops? Beautiful. Hoops. Let's do it. We're getting close on the light count here. We got 91. We need 125. Usually it takes 25 minutes or so to get through a 2-game slate. Sometimes 30 minutes. You got time, but hit a like button, and then you'll be in the running for some Run Pure Sports swag. Hey, is that polo comfy? Is that like one of these material, or is this old school cotton?
No, this is very comfy. This is nice. It's nice and light, and like you can move around in it. It's not too heavy. It's perfect.
Do you have one, Title?
No, I don't have one. I was just talking to Uncle T in chat, and Uncle T doesn't even have one yet. So him and I got to get on Big T.
We're screwed.
Yep, it's only the 100K.
Wait a second. Uncle T lives 20 minutes away from Big T's house.
I know he's in chat saying he doesn't have one either. So I'm like, all right, I don't feel as bad.
Wait a second. I know for a fact that Uncle T at least sees Big T at least twice a week for lunch. So how in the world does Uncle T not have a?
Hey, I don't know.
How do you not have a polo, Uncle T? That's on you, man. You gotta get on it. Just go steal one. Come on, you go to his house. Just go steal one.
Well, he said he hasn't seen him in a week, but still, that's ridiculous. If you can't get a polo from your own, is it his niece? It's his nephew, right? Come on,
His
man.
niece.
I almost said, I caught myself.
Oh, that's good.
Oh man.
By the way, our producer, the Capitan, just said that Bassett's on DK now. So if you want to go with a little Chris Bassett tonight as one more play, go look on DK and he should be up there. So guys, Jokic is on the injury report here. With the
I'm expecting him to play, but
what's his
he
wrist?
is.
You think Jokic is missing a game? You think Jokic?
He's not missing. He's not missing the game. This dude loves to play. He's not missing the game.
No, he's not missing the game, but it is something to at least take into account just in case. I mean, just in case what? It limits his play. But you're either in on this guy or you're not in on this guy, right? There's really no in between, JSU, and you're completely in on him, right? Who cares about him showing up?
I mean, yeah, I think he plays. I don't know how the injury is going to affect him. Now, it said that he wasn't bothered by it, obviously, after he sustained it. But again, adrenaline, he's playing. Like, who knows? Maybe, after the game, maybe it got worse. Like, we don't really know what happened to his wrist. All I know is that I do not expect him to sit in this game. Like, it could be hurting him, his wrist, and I would expect him to still play. I don't see him sitting out here. I don't see it.
It's almost like the NFL and wide receivers. Like if a wide receiver has a lower body injury, I'm really nervous about it. But if it's an upper body injury, I'm okay. And obviously basketball is different because you're using your wrists and stuff. But we saw it yesterday with Giannis. It's like, okay, let's, he's a game time decision. They're posturing. The dude was really hurt. I mean, he couldn't finish the game, which maybe is the best thing for the Bucks right now. But, looking at, I don't think you could just poo-poo it, but you got to pick a side before things happen. And there's no doubt.
It's his right wrist, though, right? Like, it's a shooting wrist. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever, like, if you sprained a wrist before, like, I play basketball. I've sprained my wrist multiple times playing basketball. I mean, it is painful to shoot. I won't lie. But you can shoot, but it is painful because every time you flick your wrist, which is what you're supposed to do, that you can feel it. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say, again, like, we don't know how bad it is. Like, it could not be bad at all. Like, you could have just iced it and it'd be fine. Like, I don't know, but I've sprained my wrist before, and shooting doesn't feel great. I don't know.
Does not feel great. And then the other thing is he's a hell of a passer too, especially from after the other team scores a bucket, he just goes full court and hits, we've seen it so many times with him. Okay, let's get into this, and we'll start with our first game. We got Boston and Toronto. Gordon Hayward not playing again. We've got a lot of different options here. I know you've been all over a lot of these Celtics, JSU, early on the season, early on the playoffs. We're still early on the playoffs, I guess. And then on the other side of things, I looked at the playbook today. My goodness. Let's just go back to the well with these guys in Toronto, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Toronto, you're getting guaranteed, 38 to 45 minutes from, like, the main four guys, really. I mean, Kyle Lowry, Van Fleet, Siakam, all these guys, bar and foul trouble, are playing huge minutes. Like, probably won't leave the court in the second half at all. So I do like having two of those three guys in your lineup. My preferred two are the guards. I think one of the things last time that helped Siakam out have a decent game was Jaylen Brown got in foul trouble early, which forced him. I don't even know, like, some people might not have realized, but it forced him to kind of either didn't guard Siakam, or when he guarded him, Siakam bullied him down into the paint. And I talked about this specifically where Siakam was having trouble early in the start of the first, like, two games of the series, like, bullying him down in the paint, like catching the ball with his back to the hoop and then bullying him down where that little flick hook that he shoots is, like, closer to the rim. And what Jaylen Brown was doing was pushing him away, so it was a little further. And every single time he'd shoot it, it'd be short. But what happens is when you have a foul trouble, you can't push back. You essentially have to give in to the guy who's pushing you and either try and take a charge or just let him kind of push you until he decides to stop. And he was getting deep enough in the paint where it was easier for him to score. I don't expect that to be the case unless Jaylen Brown's in foul trouble again. So, I mean, foul trouble dictates a lot because they either have to take Brown off of him or Brown has to play tentative while guarding him, which is never a good thing either way. So I expect the two guards from Toronto to be my preferred plays. Siakam would be like a secondary, like the secondary play after those two guards, Lowry and Van Fleet, who I think are the top plays from Toronto. Then from the Boston side, man, I think I jinxed Jaylen Brown because I don't know. I'm sure everyone remembers this, but I thought he was going to come out and have a huge game. Guy just went ice cold, was in foul trouble, shot 4 for 18 from the field. He took 11 3-pointers and went 2 for 11. It was disgusting. And I can't believe he kept shooting too. Because at one point, I thought Brad was just going to be like, stop pulling 3-pointers, like go to the hole. And he just kept pulling them. He finally hit one at the end or two at the end. But God, it was really painful to watch. I can't see him having another bad shooting game. But man, that guy has so much God-given ability and athleticism. I just wish he would just take it to the rim and focus on trying to attack the rim and get fouled. Shoot as a secondary option. You are so athletic. I just wish he would, put his head down once in a while and take the ball to the rim and get fouled and do that a couple of times, because then they'll respect his shooting. It'll build his confidence up, get into the free throw line. So sometimes he just doesn't do it and drives me nuts. I also think it's a Kemba Walker type spot. This is a perfect spot where Kemba usually shines. Boston's lost 2 games in a row. Kemba, that dude is he's ice cold. Like he's got ice veins. Like he's not afraid of any moment. We could see it like 2 games ago where he comes out in the first quarter, drops 15, 20 real points, where you're just like, what happened in 12 minutes? So I like Kemba. I like going back to Jalen. I'm probably not going to pay up for Jason Tatum's tag, even though I love Tatum, but probably just not going to have the money. The value is weak on this slate.
So I didn't hear Anunoby. You might have said it. I didn't hear it. And then is Brown out of your circle of trust? Is he done?
No. Because the opportunity is there. And let's be honest, like he was just jacking from 3. But if he's not in foul trouble, he sees more minutes. And if he's making a couple more shots, maybe he is more aggressive attacking the rim. One of the reasons why he wasn't as aggressive was because once he got into foul trouble, he stopped doing it because Kyle Lowry was just trying to take charges. Every time someone would attack the rim, I mean, like jump stop and shoot a little bunny. Like these guys, Kyle Lowry, every time you see Kyle Lowry and he's not guarding you up top, he's trying to take a charge every single time. Drives me nuts. He's the best one of the best in the league at it. But that's all he wants to do is take charge. He's never going to block you down low. Jump stop and shoot a little bunny. Like I don't get it. When they see him down there, they should know that right away. I know it's in the game plan. Like, sure, Stevens talks about it before every game.
Cash plays. Who are we looking at here, Title?
All right, so we'll start on the Toronto side, and I'll start with FanDuel because FanDuel and DraftKings are different. FanDuel Siakam is my favorite play on the Raptors, and that's just because of small forward eligibility is just not very great. And I don't like him as much on DK because I would rather Lowry and Van Vliet. So it's kind of weird. But yeah, FanDuel Siakam just because of the position. I still like Fred Van Vliet. Kyle Lowry got a big price bump. He's 9,200 now, which is 700 more than Jamal Murray. If I can get him, I'll get him. Tournaments, I like him a lot. He definitely has upsides. He's shown it, but I don't know if I can get there in cash. It might have to get me off something else that I don't want. So those are the main things. Marc Gasol, you can also make a case for at 4,400. He'll make your lineup work. It doesn't sound pretty, but if he gets you 20, you're very happy. So those are the main guys for FanDuel cash. And then on DK, Kyle Lowry is my favorite play on the slate. 8,200 just is too cheap. That just shows where both sites differ. I like Van Vliet a lot too. I do like him a little more than Siakam. Those are the 2 main ones. I don't like Marc Gasol too much. Anunoby got a price bump at 5,700. Still like that play in tournaments. He's going to get run out a lot of minutes, but not something that I'm really looking too much in cash. And you can definitely play Siakam in the balance build. He absolutely can go off, but I'm with JSU. Jaylen Brown, when he isn't in foul trouble, he really has defended Siakam well in the paint. So That's the Toronto side, and then going to FanDuel, we'll start on, or going to the Boston side on FanDuel. Jason Tatum sticks out at the power forward spot. He is expensive at 9,400, but I absolutely love Tatum today. Marcus Smart is the second one, 5,700 at shooting guard. Like that a lot. Then you can play Kemba too. Point guard is loaded on this slate, but he's always in play. And then those are the three that I'm really leaving it to. Jaylen Brown and Theis are okay plays as well, but not a cash game core, I guess I should say. If you land them on the last piece, that is okay. And then on DraftKings, Tatum and Kemba. Kemba is definitely more in play over there for me, so I like him a lot. I like Tatum a lot if you can get him. And then Jaylen Brown, Smart, Theis, those guys are all priced up a little bit. If you land on Jaylen Brown or Smart, I'm absolutely fine with that, but they're not going to be the first pieces I plug in.
Hey, is this free or premium, JSU? Tell me. I can't remember.
This is free.
This is free?
This is free.
Can I ask you about your core play, though? Can I ask you why a player is out, or do we just keep it for the premium guys?
You want to ask me about my core? No,
I want to ask you about one player that's not your core.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. Go for
All
it.
right, fine. I want Jaylen Brown's not your core, and here you are talking him up. What the hell's going on with you, JSU?
Well, that's because someone else is in my core. Someone else is going to break the set.
Okay.
I listen. I like Jaylen Brown a lot today. I'm still going to play probably some Jaylen Brown. I'm just saying that there's one Celtic who I believe has a bigger game today. Because I talked about him already. I told you he's cold.
That is a good question, though. I mean, how is this show free? There's too much money be given out.
Yeah,
I'm not in charge of that. But
how do we get 107 likes right now? We got almost 300 people watching. I mean, that's just JT says disrespect. I mean, that's just ridiculous, though. This is worse than disrespect. This is like a slap in the face. I mean, I don't even know what to do. I should just walk off the show right now. And Title should take that damn Bucks picture off his background because that is just atrocious.
No, this guy, not this guy. This guy's bad.
Not this guy.
This guy's good.
The guy on my right, you need to take off. That dude is just awful.
I'm covering him.
Did you see the 3-pointer where it literally, like, it didn't even touch the net? It was so low. Did you see that? Where
it was even him and Westbrook.
Rim, the net.
Him and Westbrook playing horse. That game would take 10 hours. Those guys are just brutal.
No, because Westbrook would just dunk them to death. Like Westbrook would just out athletic.
3-point horse. That game's taking forever.
No. They play around the rim, like whatever you call
around
it.
Around the world.
Around the world. There you go. If they played around the world, it would never end. The game would be going on for days.
But Middleton's one of the most underrated players in the league, even as an all-star. He can get to a spot. He's special. The Bucks aren't winning the series. Casket's already brought out to me. I'm over that. But Middleton, he's fun to watch.
It was nice to see the Bucks actually win a game.
Well, that's what it's weird when they play 47. Middleton plays 47 minutes, or when guys actually play. I mean, 32 minutes for Middleton or whatever. Why
are we talking about the Bucks? They're going to get eliminated anyways. They're all dumb.
Hey, but we get to see another game.
We need to give them a little props. I will say, everyone who played Dante DiVincenzo, you guys all lucked out because he wouldn't have got that much run and he wouldn't have scored that many fantasy points if Giannis didn't get hurt. So I will say, everyone who played him lucked out because he was not as solid of a play as people were saying, but he got lucky because Giannis got hurt. But so did the people who played Chris Middleton, right? No way Middleton scores 60 fantasy points if Giannis doesn't get hurt, correct?
Yeah, no, you're right. He was more of a play on FanDuel because of shooting guard eligibility, so I was lucky enough to have him over there. He was pretty chalky, but yeah, he's not putting up that game. I mean, he had 40. It was a ceiling game, 47 minutes overtime with no Giannis. Like that, no, that was not a range of outcomes you could predict.
Yeah, no, Middleton was cheap on FanDuel. I will say that.
Yeah.
So we're up to 123 likes. 2 more, somebody gets some free swag. If we get to 200, I will do the rest of the show shirtless.
Want
to get to that?
We just got a dislike, I think, because you said that. I don't care. Just because you said that.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm all about, we're nipple length too. So this could get good. Give us 200 people. Look, our watches just went up like 15 since I said that too. So
people are tweeting it out.
Doing that.
Yeah.
Hey, JSU, come on. We're all about subscriptions here. We're selling about subscriptions. If I got to take my shirt off, that's what I got to do for the team. Let's get to this.
If the people want that, though, then I'll just me and Title will just leave. Like, they can finish the show shirtless.
He can be talking to. He can talk to himself with his shirt off to some 200 people.
I mean, if you want to see that, we'll just put Holton on like a periscope or something like that.
Yeah. If you're under 8 here, this is the chat. I just unliked. LOL. Dislike. Oh my God, where's the unlike button? Nipple. Hey, somebody says that I'm 4 unlikes. That's all right. Come on, guys. I won't take my shirt off. Just get the 200. Kill the dislike button. I promise. I won't do it. Okay? Just try not to.
I'm sorry. I deemed it. All
right, we're down to 2
for people to do it real quick. So
we lost 2 likes.
What happened?
All right, you're right. You know what? Once we get on the premium show, then I will start doing it shirtless. So the other game we got to get to here is the Clippers at Denver. So I want to get to you here. JSU, again, we touched on it, but Jokic could be on the injury report with the wrist. How do you handle that? There is no Will Barton. Maybe you just start with the Nuggets side because it's Jamal Murray now. Is he back in play as a guy that we think could get us 50 points? Jeremy Grant, Paul Millsap. These are guys that have been brought up too. What's this Denver side?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting here. So this game is going to go one of 2 ways now. If Jokic is in some ways limited because of the wrist issue, even though I think he plays, I don't think he's limited minutes-wise, but maybe it does take an effect on his shooting or whatever, and Jamal Murray has to take more shots, which I think a lot of people are just going to assume right away that Jokic is injured his wrist. It might affect him taking more shots, so maybe Jamal Murray's going to take more shots. I mean, I think if Jokic is out there, I still think he's going to take his shots. I don't think it's going to really affect it that much. I'm still not on Jamal Murray. I still think 8,900 in this series. Like, if you gave me 8,900 against Utah, I'm all over it. I'll pay that price any day against Utah. Utah's defense is garbage. The Clippers are not Utah. The Clippers team is much better defensively, and I think that Jamal Murray is still at a price where I'm not going to pay for him. Now, if you want to play him on FanDuel, that's different because Kyle Lowry is a little more, he's more expensive than Murray, I'm pretty sure. So if you want to go there and save a little money, that's fine. But I still much prefer Lowry over Murray. I think Lowry outscores him today, just straight up raw points. I prefer Lowry. So yeah, I'm kind of off the spend ups on this game. Like, I'm not going to play Jokic. I'm not going to play Murray. Kawhi Leonard would be my favorite spend up from this game if I had to pick one. I mean, this dude is just, he's so good. Even when he has a bad game, he just seems like he's just so good. It's weird because he shot 4 for 17, but he just does everything. He gets rebounds. He almost had a triple double, but he had a terrible shooting night really from the field. And that's why he didn't have a 65 fantasy point game. Because if he has a good shooting night, he has 60 fantasy points in his sleep if he has a good shooting night, but he just didn't have a good shooting night. So if this dude comes out and he's making these shots and he's getting rebounds, getting assists, like, he could easily put up 60 fantasy points. That's why he'd be my preferred guy if I was going to spend up on anyone today. Jokic, Tatum, Murray.
I want you to stay on him because, like, how do you jam him in at that price? How do you do it? 10-3, 10-6?
See, that's the problem is.
It'll be different, though.
Yeah.
As you mentioned.
So if you play him, I think your lineup, like Title said, is going to be different. Now, the problem is that you're going to at least have to punt with someone like a JaMychal Green at 3,600 or whatever he is, a Robert Williams at 3,800. Like, you may need 1 or 2 of these guys, but you can make it work. Like, I'm looking at a lineup right now where I have 2 guard spend ups from the Toronto-Boston game with Kawhi, and I just have 1 punt in JaMychal Green in my life. Like, there are ways for you to make it work. You just got to kind of play around with it. But I do think he's the best spend up on the slate. And I think, like Title said, it might be somewhat contrarian to just a little bit because I don't know how much people will spend up past the Lowrys or the Murrays at 80, 82, 8,900. So I don't mind doing that. I think the Denver side, if you want to pick from the Denver side, it's more like those cheaper guys. You could play like the Jeremy Grants at 5,200 who are just seeing so many minutes. I mean, man, he's bad, but he's just, if he's seeing 40 minutes, he has 30 point. He could score 30 points. He just hasn't really done it that much, but he could do it. Paul Millsap is still underpriced for whatever reason. They keep running him out big minutes. No idea why, but 32 minutes last game, they trust him where they're playing him enough minutes to where I'm fine with going to him. Vika Zubek, I said it. I've been saying this all along. Like, I think he's supplanted himself as the number one guy there, whereas earlier in the season, like before COVID, even though Zubek started and whatever, Harold was always considered the number one big. They finished with him a lot. So now I think it's more of a question. I think they also like Zubac on Jokic more as a matchup. So I still like him at 4,900. I think he's got double upside on DraftKings. You get the bonus. So I do like that. Yeah, I mean, Marcus Morris at 5,100. Like, I think you want to stay there. Lou Williams at 50, was he 800? 5,800 Lou Williams. That is a price point where I can't pass it up. He's just got too high of a ceiling. Even if he plays 26 minutes or something like that, 29 minutes. He played 24 and 29 the last two games. And obviously one was in a blowout. But I expect him to get anywhere from like 25 to 30 minutes. So if he's getting 25 to 30 minutes, I mean, this dude's got 40. Like, he could easily score 40 fantasy points. No one would be shocked. So I think 5,800 is a great price tag for him.
Let's talk about this from a cash angle title. Who are some of the guys you're really focusing on? And I mean, it's no bother to go to Kawhi, right? Are you considering him? Cash?
No, so for cash, I'm not, but he is my favorite tournament play on the slate. I do still play some tournaments, but I mean, he's the best player in basketball. I don't think there's really a question. He is just so gifted in every part of the game, defense, IQ, pass. I mean, he just knows the game of basketball. I think the Clippers stomp him today. I really do. I think Kawhi has a monster game. So he is my favorite tournament play, but no, I can't get him in cash just because of the blowout risk and everything. So, but he is my favorite tournament play. You mentioned Lou Williams, 5,800. How much JSU like that price tag? Look at FanDuel, 5,100 at point guard. I mean, he makes it so easy. That's why point guard's so loaded. Jamal Murray, Lowry, Kemba, Lou Will. Like, I mean, you can mix and match that every single way, and you only can pick two. And Lou Williams is underpriced, and Jamal Murray at a $700 discount from Kyle Lowry. You might need that. So the point guards, if you need the money, they're a little too cheap in this game, and I like both of them a lot. Just going to tackle the Denver side quick because I don't have – on DraftKings, I'm not paying up for Murray. I'm not paying up for Jokic. I like the value guys, though, with Jeremy Grant on both sites. They're running him out for as many minutes as he can handle. Cheap price tag. You fall into some steals, some blocks. So I like that play a lot. And then Paul Millsap, man – I got to give credit where credit's due. Mangone, last time we were on the show, he was all over Millsap.
Nice.
I called him dusty. He is dusty. I still stand by that. But Malone thinks he's good, and Malone thinks Michael Porter's dusty, I guess. I don't know. I don't
Malone just doesn't want to play one of his best players. That's what it is. He doesn't want to do it.
You know what his excuse
is?
His excuse is that he doesn't play defense. That's his excuse. That's why he doesn't want to play him.
That's like, yeah, I mean, Coach Bud saying Middleton and Giannis' ceiling at 35 minutes is pushing it. I mean, I don't know what to say, but hey, we can't change what
this is why the Raptors would beat the Bucks too in a series, because those guys are literally trained to play 40 minutes a game. So when they play 45 or 46, it's not crazy to them. Like, Bud would never do that. Never. It's just ridiculous. Like, you play your best guys. In the Raptors, like Nurse, he'll play OG 45. And OG isn't like their best player or their second or third even. like that's what I mean. Like good coaches, if you're gonna do it, you need to like during the season, you need to practice that. Like, and that's one thing that I respect. Nurse does really well, and the Raptors, they run their guys out, and even in the regular season, we always would say it. Well, these guys at least play 35, 38 minutes. Because look in the playoffs, they play 40, 45 minutes. That's why they do that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And for these playoff slates, I'm targeting more minutes floor. That's how I'm building my lineups. I want guys that are going to play 30 plus minutes, and I know that. So that's why Paul Millsap. Do I think he's good? No, but he's cheap. I think he's going to play over 30 minutes, and he's going to shoot some. He's going to get rebounds. So I do like Paul Millsap. I do like Grant. Those are pretty much the only interests I really have, except Jamal Murray on FanDuel. And then going to the Clippers side, Paul George I like a lot. Very good price tag. Played 40 minutes last game. FanDuel especially, I like it at shooting guard. So have a lot of interest in him. Lou Williams, we mentioned, was too cheap. Zubac, man, I wish he played more minutes. His plus minus with him on the floor compared to when he's not is just crazy. He's a difference maker. He's a very good basketball player, I think. Plays defense, can defend the pick and roll. I just think he's a good basketball player. So I like Zubac a lot at center. He does have value. If he closes the fourth quarter instead of Harrell, you can get a ceiling game easily. So I like Zubac a lot. I think he's safe. Morris I like a little bit too at 5,100 on FanDuel. He's 5,100 on DraftKings too. He should get 30 minutes. Had a bad game last game, which will keep his ownership down. But we've seen Marcus Morris. I mean, he's a good basketball player. So I mean, I like that. Those are the main pieces that I'm sticking to in this game. But I think the Clippers blow them out. So that's how I'm going to be playing game theory for tournaments.
Hey, I also want to throw this out. We did it on the baseball side. JSU, who's your best like cheap one-off? If you're trying to throw Kawhi in a lineup, who's your guy? Is there one?
I mean, so are you asking for someone like below a certain price range?
Yeah, I mean, listen, yeah, because you're not going to be able to. I mean, you're not going to be able to jam in the big guys with Kawhi, so you're going to need somebody to get you salary relief.
Yeah, I mean, God, the value on the slate is just so bad. Like,
I'll go first while you look. I forgot to mention Patrick Beverley at 3.7K. I forgot to mention. I don't love Patrick Beverley, but I mean, I think his minutes are going to keep trending upwards. He's feisty. He can get steals. He's been, 2 games ago, I think it was, when he hit like 3 corner threes to start the game or just something crazy. He was letting them go. So him and then Robert Williams at 3.6K would be the 2 guys that I think have upside for their price to jam and studs.
What do you think there, JSU?
See, here's the thing with Patrick Beverley that I don't really like is he got 12 minutes the first game because it was a blowout probably, but he only got 15 minutes in the last game. How many minutes is he actually going to get? Like, let's say this game stays close. Does he get 18?
I think it'd be a little over 20. I do in a close game, I think. I mean, and maybe that's me being and that maybe that's me being generous, but at 3.7K with just how he plays the game, he's always in your face. He touches the ball like he's open in the corner when they help on Kawhi and stuff. I don't know. I mean, if you want to go Kawhi, you need guys like that. So no, he's not safe, all that, but that's
but none of these guys are safe, right?
Yeah.
Like when you
it's a 2-game slate.
Patrick Beverley, JaMychal Green, like if Title's script is right, then I think JaMychal Green is more of a guy you want. Like if you think the Clippers are going to blow him out, I think JaMychal Green sees 20 minutes.
Yeah,
JaMychal Green sees 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like he's the guy that I would look at. One thing, I would love Robert Williams, but one thing that I don't understand is, so the Celtics decided in the first quarter, we're going to take Daniel Theis out at the 7:40 mark or whatever it was. We're going to put in Robert Williams. We're going to let Robert Williams run. I think it was like 13 minutes or something like that in the first half he played. It was something crazy, like 11 or 13 minutes. And then he only played like 2 or 4 minutes in the second half. They went with a small lineup with Grant Williams for some of the game where they didn't have a center on the floor, which is why Theis only got like 25 or 26 minutes. So if you told me that Robert Williams had a chance to play like 18 to 20 minutes, I would love him. I'd put him as my number 1 value on the slate. But for whatever reason, it seems like Boston, even if he's playing okay, because he was playing okay. Like, there was no reason not to play him more other than I don't know what it is. Like, do they have some secret like limit they're trying to keep him at, like 15 to 17? Or do they just kind of like him, to start off the game, like as an energy guy to come off the game, and then they like to finish somewhat smaller, or, play Grant Williams at the end? Like, I don't get the reason, because to me, Robert Williams is way better than Grant Williams, and I would prefer him in the game all the time, especially to match up against a guy like Serge Ibaka or Marc Gasol, like whoever's on the floor for Toronto, because Toronto seems like they're going to play one of Gasol or Ibaka. So that just kind of puzzled me a little bit. I don't know why they did that.
I think one thing I do like, though, is because 2 games ago they tried Cantor when they were running against the zone, and they realized real quick that Cantor can't play defense in this series. So I'm already eliminating Cantor. So at 3.6K, it's Robert Williams or Grant Williams to end the game is what I'm guessing. And I mean, a 2-2 series. I think Brad Stevens is a good coach. So I think there is the upside in minutes to make him a GPP winning play. I'm not saying he's the best cash play, but like you said, if he gets that run to end the game, he's going to be on the winning lineup. So,
so Tice did end the game
in the second half. I meant like the
Grant
third quarter
Williams
to fourth.
Played all the way up until Tice came back in the game around the 5-minute mark, 5.5-minute mark, which was weird. It wasn't Robert Williams. It was Grant Williams. I didn't really get that.
That's what I meant. If he gets that run, where Grant Williams had it and he gets that run in the second, he's going to be on the winning lineup. He won't close it because of Thice, though. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But I think those are the 3 guys, like, honestly, like Robert Williams, Jermichael Green, and then Pat Beverly. If you think that Pat Beverly is going to see around 20 minutes, like, then he's in play too. So I think those 3 are the cheap guys. I would want 1, maybe 2 in a lineup. If I was building, I would not make a lineup with all 3 of them. There's just too much risk involved with playing all 3 of them together. I think it's 1 or 2 max of those guys, though.
All right, guys.
And Patrick Beverly did get ejected last game. Didn't make up too many. He didn't miss out on too many minutes, but that's another reason. He would have had a couple more if he didn't get ejected for running his mouth. So just add that
a couple more.
A couple more. I mean, he was on the court and he came off before someone got subbed in for him. So I think there's a little more minutes.
He also did have 5 fouls. Like, he was in foul trouble. Again, like, who knows what he would have actually played.
Yeah.
It was weird, though. Like, that first game, I was just surprised he only saw 12 minutes. Even in a blowout, I would have thought, like, give him a little more run just to get his legs under him, let him see like 16 to 18 minutes. And they were pretty cautious with him. So I was kind of surprised they were playing him in like 4-minute spurts or whatever it was. So, yeah, but you're right. He did get ejected. That's,
All right, guys. Good stuff. Went through everything. You guys helped me with my NBA lineup tonight. Get the big single entry. Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Can't wait to see the winners.
Huh?
Can't wait to see your winning lineup later. A little screenshot action with your shirt off.
I think the main prize is $100, so I'll be cleaning up. In all seriousness, though, guys, if you got any questions about baseball or basketball tonight, hit these guys up in the Discord. They'll be there. If you haven't already signed up for Run Pure Sports, the NFL is here. I mean, come on. You got to be kidding. JSU, give a sales pitch real quick. Come on, man. Who is going to get better NFL coverage, especially for GPPs, than this guy? We got the best cash players in the world.
It's free money Sunday. That's all I got to say. 3 words. Free money Sunday. Now, JSU can speak.
I mean, if people listen to any of my stuff, in the past year or 2 that I've been on doing content, I mean, people already know. Like, they know that they're going to get really strong GPP advice. And, I'm going to bring it every single week. We got Big T, Hoop, Mangone, Title. They're doing cash stuff. And, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a ton of content. It's going to be super simple. You got our core section, our tiers, our favorite stacks. We're going to break it down for you guys, give, the best advice we can. And it's just going to result in winners. Like, again, like, if you want winners, that's what this is going to result in. It's going to result in more winners.
That's all I can say. Winner today, I scrolled through. Dom K. Has Dom won yet? Has Dom won free swag?
No,
I don't think so. Winner, if you're there. Winner. Chicken dinner.
I'm sorry, what's his name?
Dom K.
Dom K. All right, so make sure you hit up Big T in the Discord. or hit up the at Rumpier Sports Twitter account. We'll get you hooked up.
All right. Enjoy the NBA slate. Enjoy the baseball slate. Get ready. Tons of NFL content coming at you for Title and JSU and Captain back in the studio. I'm Holden Kushner. I'll catch you later.
Good luck, guys.